I'm going to show you two things about the Pfaff Select 4.2 that you'll love for getting perfect seam allowance every single time. Number one, when you look at the throat plate, you're going to notice there are lines here. They are both in metric and in inches. So whichever side of the world you live on, you should be all set. So whether you need a 1/2 inch seam allowance or 15 millimeters, those lines are on this throat plate. Now, when you're following a pattern, you always have to read which seam allowance that they are recommending and using. So there's also a seam guide that comes with this machine. Now this does not come with every machine, so it is nice to see this in with the accessories. This is a guide that you can put on the machine, and if you notice right back here, there's a little hole. And if you cannot put the guide in there, like I can't push it all the way through, there's a screw at the top. You're going to need to loosen that until it will slide in. Then you can measure how far out you want to be able to stitch from the edge of your fabric. Or if you're actually just running multiple rows parallel to each other, you can set the distance from the needle to the guide and then be able to stitch when you cannot see the throat plate. So let me show you what I'm talking about. First off, make sure you give this a nice tight turn so it doesn't move, or if you bump it, it doesn't grow as you're sewing. So let me just do this. I'm going to just sew a quick little straight stitch. You're going to notice I will keep my eye near the edge of the fabric next to the seam guide. And then when I'm ready to stitch another row, like let's say a row right next to it, I'll place the seam guide on the last stitching line I just stitched, and now keeping my eye once again right over the top of, I guess I do need to follow where I'm going, here we go. Then I can get a nice parallel line when I'm stitching. So if you're doing any machine quilting and you're stitching multiple rows, maybe even coming back and going this way, you will definitely have it all set up. All you have to do is draw one line on your fabric, stitch on it, and then move it over and let the seam guide do the rest of the work for you. So I love the fact that it comes with the machine. Don't forget to use it, and now you know what that little bar is in your accessory box.